My name is Daniel DiMartino, and I am here to tell you that socialism destroyed my life in Venezuela. It can destroy yours here as well. More than half of young Americans now support socialism. And I know most have good intentions, but this ideology and its policies will lead to disaster, like they always have. I was born in 1999, the same year that Hugo Chavez took power in Venezuela. Chavez pledged to make life better for the poor by giving food, housing, utilities, healthcare, and education, all for free. First, people began lining up for hours to buy food. Then they lined up for what was left, the trash. Yet, politicians like Bernie Sanders say,
sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
I had to make those lines Bernie Sanders talked about, and it wasn't because I was rich, but because politicians like him destroyed my country. You see, in America, many take things for granted, like water and electricity. In Venezuela, I went 3 whole weeks without any water in my apartment, and blackouts would occur every week. I can remember being an 8-year-old child and not having milk at home because we couldn't find it anywhere. The government raised the minimum wage hundreds of times in just a few years, so college and high school teachers and doctors were making the same as fast food workers and other entry-level jobs. The consequence was that I went days without classes because the teachers had to quit to do easier jobs where they got paid the same. Doctors were hard to find in hospitals because they had all left our country. As the government was put in charge of more and more industries and destroyed our economy, people became increasingly dependent on government handouts and government employment. I want you to imagine for a second. You've lost 60 pounds in the last year because you cannot afford to buy food, even while working full-time. Your mom is sick but you can't find her medicine, and your wife cannot breastfeed your newborn son because she hasn't eaten in all day. All while your friends and even your family is escaping the country however they can. This is the life of an average Venezuelan today. Socialism did reduce inequality, but it made everyone equally poor. And socialism always ends in tragedy and disaster, of course. That is why in 2016, at the age of 17 years old, I left Venezuela to come to America. And like me, more than 4 million Venezuelans have had to flee the country in just the last few years. Over 12% of our population. And that is why I am concerned for America. In America, the radical left says that it wants Nordic socialism, but their proposals are much closer to Venezuela than Denmark. Medicare for all, a wealth tax, government jobs for everyone, an ever-increasing minimum wage, and doubling government spending for a Green New Deal. Venezuela did not become a land without opportunity from one day to the next, but it took 2 decades of socialist policies like this. In the same way, socialists won't usher all their destruction in one day in America. But one by one, they will push and implement these policies. If they are successful, America will suffer the same fate of Venezuela. If you think I exaggerate and the record isn't enough for you to understand it, Venezuelans elected Chavez democratically, but like with all socialists, the first is the last free and fair election. In 1999, when he took office, the naive majority said we would never become like Cuba, but we would bring the poor out of poverty. Yet, today Venezuelans are poorer than Cubans. Now the common saying in Venezuela is that we were rich, but we didn't know it. I don't want America to suffer the same fate, neither should you. This great country is in your hands, so I ask you to join me and guarantee that America never becomes a socialist country.